We're going to double check to see if he broke the plane. You did see the pylon get knocked down. If contact was made with the ball on the pylon before Concepcion was ruled out of bounds or down, then it's a touchdown.
Yeah, I think Hippolyte was there. I think it was Hippolyte, the linebacker, that ultimately knocked him out.
Looking for a knee or out of bounds. If he banged that pylon first, that'll be confirmed. It looks like that. Big connection with Tyson Bagent, and they work into Cleveland territory down inside the 40.
He has had an outstanding training camp, and as you see him just take off, little in route here across the middle slant. He's been averaging, guys, about 30 yards per catch in training camp. I mean, he has been incredible. They called him White Lightning when he was there in Cleveland because of his speed.
I think Scotty Miller and Caden Davis provide that speed, and he has made flash plays.
41-yard connection to Davis. There's a drop by Roshan Johnson on the Bagent delivery that brings up second down.
But getting back to Caleb Williams, the key is his sacks went down and his interceptions went down. He was masterful last year. I know from John Shoup, who is Ben Johnson's mentor, for me, those are the ultimate no-nos. There are times where you cannot take a sack. No sack, no plays. He's very conscious of getting the ball out of his hand. Where he's got to be better is the first and third quarter. You know, we know he's He-Man when the game's on the line.
Sure.
He makes all the clutch plays. He's that impressive. But he's got to make the layups is where he's got to get a lot better.
Davis got hit, was juggling that football, and he took quite the lick from Winston Reed. Could not hold on to it, and that brings up third down. Davis smarting a little bit after that one.
Well, if you want to make the roster, you got to make that catch.
Yeah. You're right. Those are routine plays. Hey, he's open. He's got it in his breadbasket. Got to squeeze it. You're going to take the hit. You know you're going to get hit. Might as well just have the ball in your hands when you take it.
Spent some time as a kick returner the last couple of years. Played in 3 games in the regular season with Cleveland the last 2 seasons, Caden Davis. This will be blown dead.
Smart play by Tyson.
We saw action in the neutral zone, took the snap, free 5 yards. Julian Okwara.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 99. 5-yard penalty, still third.
Work the snap count. Work the snap count. Make it a weapon. You go from 3rd and 10 to 3rd and 5. This guy, Tyson Bagent, they've got a great quarterback room when you look at the Bears. With Case Keenum and the way this young man has developed from Shepard and Caleb Williams and his ability, this is probably one of the better quarterback rooms around the National Football League without a doubt.
And it's the same in terms of the top 3 in the room this year as it was last year. Some continuity in there too. Bagent on 3rd and medium. Little comeback route. That's a floater for Alexander, and it gets broken up nicely by the Cleveland secondary. It was Michael Coates, the rookie out of West Virginia, getting in front of Maurice.
Yeah, really didn't get the separation, and why I believe Tyson kind of tried to back shoulder him there. Maybe if he could have back shouldered a little bit more, may have given his receiver an opportunity there. Good coverage, but falls short, but a scoring opportunity here. Got themselves in the field goal range with the snap count and drawing them off sides.
Cairo Santos now has the most 50-yard field goal makes in Chicago Bears history. Passed Robbie Gould for that mark last year. Cairo now in his 7th consecutive season with the Bears. This one's going to be wide to the left on his first attempt. So the Bears still 3rd quarter, and that will be the pressing question, certainly. Watson over the middle on 1st down, and he connects with Isaiah Bond. Pickup of 8 yards in front of Malik Muhammad. Muhammad, you talked about it, Stacey. You saw him take the ball away a couple of times against the Sooners last year. Bears, as a group, were tops in the NFL. That's going to be one of the challenges for not only Dennis Allen, but Al Harris with that piecemealed back end as well.
It really is, because it's unknown. Deshaun Wright was outstanding last year. I mean, you think about him, he had 8 interceptions. Kevin Byard was a ball hawk as well, but now you've got some unknowns that you do love. I do love Dylan Thienemann's ball hawking ability, what he showed at Oregon and Purdue, and guys are going to have to emerge. What I think, too, is key is, one, the health of the corners, whether it's Gordon at nickel corner, because he creates a lot of havoc, and Stevenson and Jalen Johnson, they're contract years. They chose those 2 guys to stay here. Rather than re-sign Deshaun Wright, they believe that Tyreek Stevenson in a contract year is going to show up. We'll see.
Here's the speed of Concepcion again. Boy, they are not shy about using him in multiple facets. Another nice run for the rookie. Stays more on that defense.
Yeah, no answers for him today, but defensively, how about the Bears? Just to put it in perspective, 9-0 when they had multiple takeaways last season. They were 2-6 with one or fewer. That was their bread and butter. Every time I had a Bears game, I turned around and I thought there's no way. And then all of a sudden, you have 6 games with 3+ takeaways. It was a miraculous season defensively, turning the football over.
And I got to be honest, a lot of the reason is they were not good on first and second down defensively, which creates situations where teams were throwing the ball and they got a lot of turnovers. But they need to stop the run, and why they really retooled this defensive front. And we'll see if they will get better at rushing the passer.
Sampson ends up pounding ahead to set up a short situation on 3rd down. We've heard the word regression a lot this year. 3rd down and 1. Marshall is the back for Cleveland. He'll get the carry, and Ruben Hippolyte is there to stop him shy of the line to gain.
Ruben Hippolyte's a player that the Bears simply want more of, and it starts with special teams for this young man. But just a nice job here penetrating the line of scrimmage and finding that hole to minimize the offensive gain. But again, Hippolyte will see the field and have a chance to be active on game days if the job he does on special teams improves.
Nothing against Edmonds, but he's not as fast as the group that the Bears have this year. With Devin Bush, TJ Edwards returning, I mentioned Jackson and Hippolyte, they got a ton of speed at linebacker.
Watson running out of time. That ball gets knocked out of his hands, and sure enough, right on cue, a takeaway for the Bears defense. It was knocked away by Jamri Croma, and he picks it up for Chicago.
Did we not time it up?
Perfect conversation topic right on. Jamri Croma in his 3rd season with the Bears, providing the punch and the scoop.
Nice draft pick out of Stanford. I really like him, man. He's an old school tight end that's going to be very physical if the Bears go 13 personnel.
Yeah, he's sneaky athletic as well, Jim.
As Johnson gets hit hard in the backfield.
If you spend some time at training camp, you'll see that 12 personnel and 13 personnel come to life, where you have the 2 tight ends, the 3 tight ends. In fact, the formation in the last play that we saw there from Sam Roush, you see the graphic on our screen here. Look at the percentage.
Rams were at 30% last year to lead the league. The year before that, Arizona and Pittsburgh were around 15% to lead the league. That trend is going in the direction of tight end usage. They can block and pass catch. They can block for Roschon Johnson. And a big pickup for the former Texas Longhorn. Nice block by Kyle Hurdle.
Yeah, this will please Ben Johnson, because this is his bread and butter, the run game.
Well,
and you see...
Yeah, you look see Roush there with the down block.
That's
there.
Right.
I mean, they're physical. And like you said, it shows it's a hard run showing is what it is. And you can still do a lot of play-action passes off of gap schemes, off of zone schemes, and you really create mismatches.
Alexander on the cross. He's in. Another preseason game. Another Maurice Alexander touchdown.
Alexander has had a fast, fun camp for the Chicago Bears, and he just finds the crossing route here. He finds the space, finds the void. And what's really cool, he obviously spent time with Ben Johnson previously, but just another speedster. The speed on this offense for the Chicago Bears should have Bears fans incredibly excited and optimistic.
Spent 3 years in Detroit with Ben Johnson. Santos adds the extra point, and a quick strike offense taking advantage of the excellent field position. A couple of big scoring drive summary brought to you by Chevy Drives Chicago. Tyson Bagent was 2 for 7 to start the day. He was 2 for 2 on that drive, including the 25-yard crossing route touchdown to the former college quarterback, Maurice Alexander. He was a high school QB in Miami, went to Florida International, the NFL. This will be a touchback. So good field position for Cleveland. Back to the score.
Yeah, I do like this misdirection right here. Comes basically a boot throwback, knowing the whole time he's going to come back to Alexander on the crossing route. Gets the defense out of position. nice throw, so he was 100% on his pass plays, and here they find the end zone.
Play action was so important in Detroit for Ben Johnson. That's going to continue to be a factor for this offense in Chicago.
Yeah,
again.
knocking on the door, Adam, 48% when it comes to play action for Caleb Williams. But the misdirection in Ben Johnson's offense is why the players call him a genius, and his level of preparation and detail at the line of scrimmage is exceptional.
Watson on the handoff for Marshall, and Neville Gallimore is there. This is a big veteran body up front. Had a career year with the Indianapolis Colts last year.
Also happens to be Canadian.
Canadian-born to Jamaican parents, born in Ottawa.
And he loves them. They're tough.
Theo Benedette, obviously, is a proud Canadian, although Western Canada, if I'm not mistaken, for Theo.
Grew up in British Columbia.
There's Watson. He's got some time now, but his check down is low for Concepcion. Not a good throw by Watson. And it'll bring up 3rd down and long.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting what Cleveland does. I mean, when you look at Watson, he literally has not played in 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, and I get it. Monken's probably wants to go with the quarterback that gives him the best chance to win, but they drafted all these young quarterbacks. It just seems like you go the younger route.
Cleveland's got a long way to go to improve its offense. Watson was immediately under pressure, was able to get it to Marshall, who gets hit by Anthony Johnson Jr. shy of the sticks.
It's just wild when you think about Deshaun Watson and the contract that he signed when he went to Cleveland. It deserves reminding, I think, as we have kind of chronicled his career. He's got 1 season left on his current contract. He signed a 5-year, $230 million contract, fully guaranteed.
All guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed.
It still is.
Back in 2022.
It still is the outlier contract. I mean, I remember Steve Bisciotti, because they were trying to sign Lamar Jackson. He was upset how it really just threw everything off with the quarterback market.
And he's only had 19 starts in Cleveland, to Adam's point. Because of the back-to-back Achilles injuries, he hasn't played since 2024.
Alexander on the return. This is what he did for Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell in Detroit for a handful of games. Not
30 yards, Jim. It was
the ball was in the air for like 40 yards on what ended up being like a 14-yard official touchdown pass.
And to Cole's credit, he told me, I said, where was that ball going? Because he was a great baseball player, and he's going to have such another important role, by the way, in this offense. With all these tight ends, and Ryan Poles, I know, thinks they probably have the best tight end group in the league. They've done a fantastic job.
Probably one of the most iconic throws in football, and you had the best seat in the house.
You had the best seat for
Well, he said he was pumping that thing down center field.
Yeah.
So that baby went a distance.
Well, he's a former closer at Notre Dame. That was the closer in regulation.
Well, I think, you know, it's kind of a franchise-changing throw. It's what it symbolized.
On the little out route, that catch is made by Scotty Miller, a new addition. So there's some speed. Now, a veteran guy who's been around. He's played major playoff games. He was with Pittsburgh the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's a world champ when you look at Scotty Miller. You know, obviously spent some time with Tom Brady as well. You mentioned in Pittsburgh, and he's a savvy veteran player. You know, so they're going to have some decisions to make come cut time. Most likely they're going to keep 5 guys, but 2 will be on the practice squad. And I think Caden Davis have made things interesting.
Speaking of incredible touchdowns in the playoffs against Green Bay, he had one of those with Tampa Bay. Bagent incomplete, looking for Alexander, a drop there with a little bit of pressure on the backside as well, but that'll bring up 2nd.
Well, you talked to Tom Brady when they had injuries at the wide receiver position. Scotty Miller was his guy. Again, I think a couple in the breadbasket, you got to make that play. Hit you in the hands, you got to squeeze it, make the play, move the chains, and keep the drive going. So a couple of, focus issues from the receivers that we've seen early, and a couple of good things, a couple of bad things. What do you expect in the first preseason game?
Drop issues have to be cleaned up. Bears were in the top portion of the league in drop percentage. That's an elevating catch by Caden Davis. It'll set up 3rd down and medium.
Scotty Miller, a cool story, though. I mean, he's from Barrington, Illinois, so he comes back home. You talk about winning the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, but how about showing up to rookie minicamp to try out, to say, hey, Ryan Poles, I believe I should be here. I'm coming home, and I want a place on this team. And we see that he's been serviceable over the course of his career. So it's nice to see him get a little action today.
6 touchdowns in his career through the air, 1 on the ground. Bagent looking for Davis. It looked like he got held up, and that will be a flag thrown. You had Nate Evans in coverage for Cleveland.
Yeah, you can see the jersey pull on that.
Before the pass was thrown, holding, defense number 43. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, I think, again, it shows that how speed is deceptive. You know, a lot of corners, you know, when you're going one-on-one out there on an island, and he's going to decide what release he's going to take. He takes an inside release there. Already had beaten the DB by a step. So that's why he's tugging the jersey and holding, and he draws a flag.
The difference between holding and pass interference, holding takes place before the pass is thrown. It's only a 5-yard penalty, but it is a fresh set of downs. Hence the ball at the 45-yard line. Heavier personnel here for the Bears offense, and they'll run it with Roschon Johnson. Right back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down coming up. You can gear up for the 2026 Bears season. Visit store.chicagobears.com for hats, jerseys, memorabilia, and much more. 29 days away from the season starting, 36 away from the home opener.
Caden Davis sure is getting a lot of action today.
Yep.
Must be a feel-good moment for him coming out of the UFL. Houston Gamblers.
Winding road for a guy like Caden Davis. There is Roschon Johnson, not much there. Davis' story, he made his debut with the Browns a couple of years ago as a kick returner, but he was a tight end and linebacker and DB in high school in Kansas. He caught 15 touchdowns as a senior. Should be enough to maybe get you some attention. No star recruit, no D1 offers. He got 1 offer to be on the track team as a walk-on at Kansas State, so instead goes to a Division II school, Northwest Missouri State, undrafted, goes through the UFL, 3 different practice squads, finally makes it to Cleveland, gets to the NFL, and now playing with the Bears this year, and is out there for 3rd down and 8. Alexander, that crossing route seemingly is working for him. He picks up the 1st down to the 45.
Not to mention celebrating the Division II connection with his quarterback in Tyson Bagent.
Yep.
Yeah, he's made plays every day during camp. Nice little check down here on the crossing route. Just a little shallow cross. Clears it easy. Looking, you're booking. Hits him in stride. That's good timing. Starting to settle in. You got to believe what Tyson Bagent is right now.
Now they'll switch up the backfield a little bit. Savon Ahmed is in. This is a guy who has been around as well. Hasn't played in a regular season game since November of 2023. Now he's with the Miami Dolphins. He gets the carry here. A lot of injury issues. He played that game against Las Vegas a few years ago and had a foot injury the last time he played. He had a severe ankle injury in the preseason on a hip drop tackle with the Colts last year, so he missed all that time. But he has some talent. I watched him play in Miami, and Mike McDaniel really liked what he was able to do offensively.
Yeah, and he's got an advocate in the room, and that's obviously new running backs coach Eric Studesville, who was with him. Very good at catching the ball out of the backfield, and Eric has seen him up close and personal and how he works in practice. So, like I said, he and Roschon are in a battle right now. I really believe that.
Nice check down to Sam Roush. That moves the chains. It's a 1st down. There's Eric Studesville, the new running back.
Yeah, you mentioned Eric Studesville. By the way, his first stop, guys, Chicago Bears. Offensive quality control back in the late 90s.
For 2 different Bears coaches.
Correct. And you see the bunch blocking combo package there by the offensive line, and it just opens up just a nice seam in the middle for Sam Roush. A lot of action. They love him both in the blocking game and receiving the football is, I've been told, sneaky athletic.
I think Eric Studesville is going to add a lot here. I was on that Bears team when we drafted Anthony Thomas, and Eric Studesville was key for Anthony Thomas to get Rookie of the Year.
Boy, that was tough on Bagent as Julian Okwara reached out and grabbed him. It looked more violent with the helmet than it was, but you could tell Bagent was frustrated that he got caught up by Okwara as he beats Amageji.
That is close.
That's close, but it didn't seem like he had let go.
Well, I think it's key is that's Jedrick Wills.
Yep.
Jedrick Wills is in there. That's a 53-game starter at left tackle. And Stacy, you've seen him in practice. How healthy is the knee for Jedrick Wills at left tackle? Because he's in the mix here for the Bears.
Yeah, it's this ongoing knee issue, right, that he's had since basically 2023, and he's re-injured it several times, had surgery.
Tyson Bagent.
On the right side, he kills to the 2nd play, which is a pass play. Bagent over the middle. Late throw, he telegraphed it, and it's picked off. Intercepted. Excellent read by Michael Coates, another rookie for this back end. He read it well. The undrafted free agent steps in front for the pick.
Well, their new defensive coordinator, Mike Rutenberg, will be pleased with this in Cleveland because one of the emphasis for them has been takeaways. They didn't do it last year, despite having an outstanding defense under Jim Schwartz, Jim.
Yeah. My only coaching point there is for Carlson, come back to the ball. Don't just wait there. Come back to the ball. Help your quarterback out there a little bit. Allows the DB to undercut it, and they get the turnover. So, unfortunate, just trying to get in the field goal range right before the half.
Stephen Carlson, the intended target. So now a 2-minute opportunity with 2 timeouts for Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. Penalty flag is thrown from the defensive backfield. James Lynch gets to the quarterback. Let's see what that flag is, though, on the back end.
Holding, defense number 24. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So the rookie being thrown into the fire, Malik Muhammad II. It's tagged with that holding penalty, so negate the sack. And now the concern for Austin
Injury
Barber.
under 2 minutes. Charge the team.
That they've signed. James Lynch has been playing outside primarily today. He can be kicked down inside. He comes with a lot of experience. We've talked about Gallimore. We've talked about Kentavious Street. I do think they've got a lot of pieces to the puzzle that Dennis Allen can play with. And that's, to me, where he was masterful last year, where he was moving guys all around up front, certainly in the secondary.
He was their sack leader last year with 10. Watson under pressure again. Just a 4-man rush forces Watson out of the pocket, and that was forced out of bounds. Lynch providing pressure, and then you saw Nafai Sewell bust over to the sideline to force him out of bounds. Little twist up front for the Bears this time. Watson was hit as he throws, and that one fluttering incomplete. Jamry Chroma brought the pressure. So they're getting to Watson against, again, some backup offensive linemen without having to
front. The nickel blitzes are going to be a big part of it. 27%. They may play with it a little bit more and get a little bit higher.
That's just a drop by Marshall on the check down. It's 4th down. That also stops the clock for the Bears with 3 timeouts. So a 2-minute drill opportunity for Ben Johnson and the Bears offense.
Excuse me, they're going to tell you a story every time they break the huddle. Well, clearly the Bears are reading the story of Deshaun Watson.
Alexander on a 43-yard punt is there with the fair catch. So long field, but 3 timeouts for Tyson Bagent and the Bears offense. Calling all junior fans to join the Bears Kids Club, brought to you by Jewel Osco. You can get access to exclusive events, activities, contests, and more with a free membership. ChicagoBears.com/Kids Club to sign up today.
Well, just to put an exclamation point on Dennis Allen, Tom Brady's numbers in the NFC South were the all-time worst against Dennis Allen's defense. And then the playoff game against Matthew Stafford, a veteran quarterback, they got to him 8 times in the game. 8 times in the game. Stafford was confused, and I think Dennis Allen is a big part of that.
Bagent goes to work, has to dump it down for Savant Ahmed. And it'll pick up about 1 yard. Clock with 75 ticks to go in this first half.
Hurry up, get them organized.
Veteran college starter at the Division II level, Tyson Bagent, now in his 4th year with the Bears. Another check down. It's Ahmed again. Can't get outside, and the clock will continue to move. Nice play by Coates to make the tackle in space.
You see Karan Amagaji's back on the left side of the offensive line. I mentioned the Jedrick Wills knee issues. Aesthetically, it hasn't been great. The Bears still think he's got some power and burst. He had a femoral procedure, a surgical procedure, in the year that he took off, which was last season. But they got to see how he gets through the dog days of this thing. And right now, Braxton Jones dealing with some discomfort. You don't see him out there.
Jedrick Wills comes with 53 starts. He was a 10th overall pick by the Browns. You hope that knee gets going. Otherwise, by default, it could be Amagaji.
So here is Bagent after the Cleveland timeout. He connects for a first down. Picked up by Maurice Alexander again. Another crossing route for Alexander. Moves the chains. 46 seconds and a timeout used by Cleveland.
Maurice Alexander's been all over the place, and it's not unlike what we've seen in training camp. Just a really nice, quick delivery from Tyson Bagent, who, by the way, has been fantastic under pressure today. A couple of his long drives have come under duress. And so those will be positive takeaways for the 4th-year quarterback.
He started 2 for 7. He's now 8 for his last 9. Bears have 2 timeouts with which to work now. Bajan, floater, got Caden Davis in midfield. Out of bounds, clock stops.
Great read. Cover 2, hole shot, got the corner out to Davis, and it's just a high-low on the corner. It's a cover 2 right before the half in scoring.
Bajan is going to take off. There's some of the athleticism and a smart slide. About a half a minute to go.
It's wild. We haven't mentioned Luther Burden, Roma Dunze, Jade Walker, Khalif Raymond. I mean, all we've talked about is Caden Davis and Maurice Alexander for good reason. But Bears fans are sitting at a bar somewhere in the city of Chicago, and they got to be thinking, holy cow, our offense is going to be extremely fast. Tyson Bagent runs it exquisitely behind Caleb Williams in the pocket specifically. So we saw that.